Hi, I'm Dave Turner of Turner Barratt Corporate Finance, and this is one of a series of videos that I'm making on how to buy a business. In this video, we're considering valuation models. Once you're convinced that you're interested in buying the business, and the business owners are willing to consider an offer, talks can then turn to price. Pricing is a complicated process, and there is no magic formula to give you a definitive value or price. It is normally a process of negotiation and will vary depending on how difficult the existing owners are to deal with. When it comes to working out a price, it is not a case of coming up with the right number, but rather building a case for the price that you want to offer. Sometimes this negotiation will take place between the accountants of the two parties, but sometimes the prospective buyer will want to negotiate directly with the vendor, or vice versa, which is also fine. However, whether or not they are involved with the actual negotiation, I would strongly advise that you enlist the help of your accountant during this stage, as calculating the worth of a business is as much an art as it is a science. What's more, it can be remarkably helpful to have an independent view at this stage. In general, there are two main ways that it is possible to calculate the worth of a company. The first is net asset value. This technique involves looking at what the company is worth in terms of its net assets, such as property, stock, and debtors. This is often used if the business does not have a viable future and is a candidate for being wound up. This technique is very simple and will yield a nice low price, giving you a base value for offer. But on the other hand, it will usually be much lower than the current owner is willing to accept. The second is a price-earnings ratio, probably the most common way in which accountants assess the worth of a company. This method involves looking at the maintainable earnings of the business and applying a multiple to that. Maintainable earnings are the profits enjoyed by the company that you think are likely to be ongoing. If there has been a one-off incident in the past, such as a significant bad debt, which won't happen again, this can be added back. Likewise, if the current owners are taking out enormous amounts for themselves, which you aren't going to do in the future, this can also be added back on. The tricky part is deciding on the multiple. This depends largely on the industry. If it's a large company, then you can get price-earnings ratios out of the Financial Times for that sector, whereas if it's a small, privately held company, the multiple is normally quite a lot lower. For many small business, the multiple is typically between 3 and 6. This method is widely accepted and is relatively easy to calculate. In addition, there is another method based on discounted cash flows. This is not used very often because the base data needed is seldom available, and another method, which I sometimes apply, based on a funding model used in the private equity field. As no one method is perfect, I would strongly advise that your accountant run all models. Not only will this give you a better idea of what your offer should be, it will also make it much easier when it comes to negotiating a price. Indeed, as the business owner will always be looking to sell for the highest possible price, the more convincing your argument for the price you offer, the more chance you have of getting what you want. Remember, when it comes to working out a price, it's not a case of coming up with the right number, but rather building a case for the price you want to offer. For further information, visit our website. Thank you.